Lenarz. Julie Lenarz is a security expert and executive director of the Human Security Centre, London-based think tank. Julie, thank you so much for your time. Was Belgium an easy target generally?
Well, one reason that is often given is sort of the very fragile state of the Belgian state in itself. I mean, if you compare the security apparatus, for instance, in the UK, but also in France and Germany and other countries, Belgium is really lagging behind there. And I think that is one of the reasons why, you know, also the Paris attack that they just captured the other day after 4 months was able to hide out in this very notorious Brussels suburb for so long.
Yeah, what does that tell us about the cells that would have had to have been around him, the network that would have had to have been around him in order to have kept him secret in literally their backyard, the security forces' backyard, for 4 months?
Well, I think it shows you that in neighborhoods like Molenbeek in Brussels, what we really see are parallel societies where these people can hide out, and where they're not only hiding out amongst people who maybe carry out violence themselves, but who at least subscribe to the Islamist ideology. I think that's something we have not acknowledged for quite a long time, that yes, it's a very tiny percentage that's actually carrying out the attacks, but there is a larger minority that buys into that narrative and that is prepared to give these people shelter, and who maybe remain silent and at worst is complicit in their crimes.
Let's look at the reaction, if there is to be any reaction here in London. One imagines there are huge numbers of security officials looking at airports, ports, indeed stations, tubes, and the airport check-in desk. Would you like to see, or are you an advocate of stricter security before you even get into an airport terminal at all?
Well, I think, first of all, we have to wait and see who's really behind the attack. We know that the Islamic State planned the attack, but now we have to wait and see, are these people who were born and raised in Belgium, or are these people from abroad? Because that obviously will also inform the response to this attack. Do we have to look at tighter border controls, or do we really have to tighten security at home? I think we need to wait and see before we have more information. In terms of what you say about greater security, I think there is a place for security measures, and they can certainly help, on the one hand, to make people feel safe, on the other hand, prevent attacks, and hundreds of attacks are prevented by our security services every year. But then again, we also have to remember we're walking a fine line here, because what these people want to do is they want to change our lives, they want to take away our freedom, our liberties, everything that we love, and we must not let them do that. So there is a balance we have to strike between security on the one hand and keep on living our way of life.
Yeah, it's very difficult, and people have different lines because it is a subjective thing. Julie, thank you so much, Julie Lenarz there, a security expert and executive director of the Human Security Centre, which is a London-based think tank. We take more of your